Good evening. I had one of my subscribers ask, what is that run that you're playing? I was playing a ballad and I put this run in there, and this was the run I put in. This one. Now that's an interesting run. It sounds great and it's relatively easy to play because it's a combination of white and black notes rather than being all on the white notes or all on the black. It's a combination, but it fits the hand very nicely. You can see the position of the hand just wants to fall right into that. Now it's based on a specific scale, a kind of a jazz scale I would call it, and the name of it is a super Locrian scale. It's like a Locrian scale, a little bit different. Now a Locrian scale is one of the major mode scales. It's the 7th mode actually, so if we want to play C Locrian, the question we're going to ask is, what major diatonic scale is C, the note C, the 7th step of? And the answer is D flat. So let's play a D flat major scale. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the C. So now to play a C Locrian, we're going to play the D flat scales, major scales starting on C. So we're going to have this. It's actually a minor scale and it fits a minor 7 flat 5 or a half diminished chord like this. Now let's look at what's in it. We can see the notes are C, D flat, E flat, F natural. I'm going to call that F sharp or G flat. I'm going to call this G sharp, B flat, C. Now, because the minor third is in there, it's actually a form of a half diminished. Okay, so now to get the super Locrian, we're altering one of the notes, and it's the F. We're going to lower the F, so we're going to have a flatted 4th, which actually becomes a major 3rd. So now we're going to have like a minor 3rd and a major 3rd, but we're not going to think of this as a minor 3rd. We're going to think of it as a sharp 9. So, like that's root 3rd, flat 7, 10, way up here. That note is a sharp 9 now here. Root 3rd. Major 3rd, flat 7, sharp 9. So what I'm doing now is I'm defining the scale according to the C major scale now. I'm not thinking of the D flat major scale, because if it's a D flat major scale, then these are all flats. But for a C scale now, I'm going to look at it differently. I'm going to look at this as a flat 9, and that is a sharp 9, major 3rd, flatted 5th, sharp 5 or augmented 5th, and then flat 7. And so now the chord becomes a dominant chord that is altered. In other words, it's a dominant 7th, a C7 with a flat 9 and an augmented 5th. So the super Locrian fits that particular chord beautifully. Now looking at it a little deeper, let's see what's going on here. We have half step, whole step, half step, which is like a diminished scale. Then we have all whole steps. So half of the scale is half whole, and the other half are all whole. But the main thing is that we see that the augmented 5th is really brought out in this. Now that's a great tension chord that wants to take us to its resolution, and the 5 chord wants to resolve to its 1, so C7 wants to resolve to F major. G7, augmented, wants to resolve to C major, and so on. So we can play now a bunch of great licks on this particular scale, and I'm going to show you some of the ones that I've written out for you. And you can download the scales and the sheet on all these licks on my website for free. So you might want to do that in advance before I go through this. Okay, we'll continue now. I'd like to mention that I first heard this particular scale played by Herbie Hancock in one of his solos. He played the scale, incorporated it in his solo, and also it's a popular scale with many modern day jazz pianists like Chick Corea and Oscar Peterson and so on. So anyway, I'm going to start out now by playing a lick using an ascending lick, which is just a phrase. It's a phrase or a phrase shape, and it's going to start right on one and end on one of the next measure, so that it's going to be like this. So that's the lick. Now it ascends in scalar motion, then it skips. So this is like horizontal, then vertical. Up to here, that's the top note, then it comes down the scale and ends up on the 5th of the F major chord. So that's it, and the counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. They're all 8th notes. Now a good thing to practice is to take the same lick and put it on a different beat of the measure. So I'm going to put it as a pickup. The first note's going to be a pickup on the end of 4. So it'll be 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See, so now I had to add an extra note at the end because I came in earlier. Now come in 2 8th notes earlier, like on the 4th beat. 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. So now I'll play all 3 again. Now, additional to that, you can play after the first beat of the measure. So we can start on the end of 1. I mean, there's unlimited possibilities here, but it's the same lick. Here we go. Now we're going to start on the end of 1, like so. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now we're subtracting a note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now we'll start on beat 2. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So this is a really good exercise to try with any lick that you're playing. Try starting it on different beats and see if you can come out ending on the right target note on the right beat. Now I'm going to play a descending line on the Locrian, Super Locrian scale. So the same thing, I'm just going to go down the scale pretty much. Then I'm going to skip here. Then the scale down to there. So I'm ending now on the 3rd of the F major chord. So here again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now variation of that, start on the up of 4. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and like that. Now start on 4. 3, 4. So there you have the varieties of the descending. Again. There's 3 different variations on the descending. Now I'm going to play a combination of ascending and descending, which really is the best kind of lick, where you have the variety of movement in both directions. So this one's going to go like this, and I'm always going to start on 1 with these. So you can see that goes, and then it skips. I have to, like that, skips up, then down, and then back up again. Now I can change the rhythm. Variation, you can change the rhythm like this. So I put a triplet in there. Like that. Here's the second way to change the rhythm. Put quarter notes in there that time. Okay, now I'm going to try a variation of this where I don't just end on 1, but I continue the phrase. So this becomes a phrase lead-in to another phrase like this. Okay, so the second phrase on the F major was this, and this was a lead-in phrase. Okay. Okay, so you've heard the Super Locrian scale being used now on a lick that's ascending and descending, and then a combination of the 2. Now I'm going to put the scale into a chord progression, and it's going to be a 2, 5, 1, 6, or it could be a turnaround chord there, a diminished chord. But so it's going to be G minor 7 for one measure, C7 altered, where I'll use the scale, and then resolving to F major 7, or it could be an A minor 7 if you prefer. Then going to an F sharp diminished to take us back and cycle through the progression again. So here's the lick. I'm going to play it slowly so you can hear it. Then I'll start to play it in a rhythmic manner, and then I'll start to improvise after that. So here's the lick. I'd like to wrap up by saying you can go to my website and download the score to this scale. I've written it out for you, and all these various licks that I played in this video, you can check them out on these sheets that I've written out. And also you might want to take a look at my book, because I have a lot on scales in there, including the Super Locrian. And I hope if this is not something new for you, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will experiment with this, try to figure out your own licks, and enjoy using this scale. So thanks for listening. Send me a comment. I really appreciate that, or a thumbs up, and I will see you next time around. Take care.